In the effort to make a documentary in the past, I have looked into funding sources that have consisted of grants and donors and all different sources of funding. And this is actually interesting. It was before, when the last time I tried to make a large documentary, it was before crowdfunding was even a thing, if you can go back that far with me. And let's talk about grant raising, grant funding for documentaries. There is a lot of possibility in that and a lot of success in that for documentaries because people want to, support good causes. And part of making a documentary is supporting a cause by letting people know that there is a cause to support. And I love that. Yet, instead of raising money, what I normally do is go for documentaries I can shoot in a quality way, but ones that won't be expensive for me. Because there are so many documentaries I want to shoot. There are so many causes close to my heart that I adore. Environmental documentaries, animals, just everything that has to do with nature. There are so many causes that I want to take up. But the thing is, I've thought about it in the past, and a lot of the times the ones that are local are not spoken about. And maybe that's where the greatest need is. So currently, the one I'm working on, I had some books in a previous video where I'm reading them, and you might have spotted the New Jersey. I'm not going to talk specifically about what I'm doing, but you might have spotted New Jersey on the spine. That's because I'm in Jersey right now, and I was like, this is great. I've always wanted to shoot something like this, so I'm going to start focusing on this as my next documentary. And that is awesome. And you know what? I don't have to travel far because travel expenses are usually a huge expense. If I wanted to go make a documentary about pygmy elephants in Africa going extinct, that would be a heck of a lot more expensive, And so, just finding housing and finding transportation and over there and finding airline tickets and having to raise the money for that, yet I still think it's a valid cause, but maybe somebody over there should do it, or somebody connected with National Geographic or something like that. So for me, I've always felt, because I am the kind of creator, filmmaker, director, producer person that likes to just make stuff, and I don't like getting caught up in the whole fundraising and the whole umbrella. So you can find an umbrella nonprofit, and that in itself is a task. What you do is you have this movie you want to make, you pitch it to a nonprofit, the nonprofit says, okay, we'll be your umbrella nonprofit. And what that means is when donors donate in order to give you, the filmmaker, money, they will do it through this nonprofit. So that's a multi-step thing. And even, let's say you get an umbrella, like I've gotten umbrellas in the past, then I'm looking for a grant writer, or then I'm writing grants myself, and you're writing multiple grants, and I'm not filmmaking, and it just becomes cumbersome, and then I'm waiting for them to come back, and maybe I need a few more, maybe I need like 3 or 4, and so you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and maybe you're still doing research during this time, but maybe the whole situation is getting worse during this time, or something like that. So for me, I'm not saying that's wrong. This is just my preference. I like to pick things that seem like the next obvious choice and make it easy by virtue of just being there and having the contacts. And sometimes it's not that. But I would say that even in the midst of the most rural, empty place ever, there is probably a documentary that needs to be made. Case in point, my uncle lives out in rural Illinois, okay? And he had a setup that was idyllic, and his neighbors grew vegetables that they would share with him, and he would, air dry them and everything, and, make like dried apples and everything, and they were clean. They were so clean. And Monsanto moved next door, and they spray sick, and from it, like, he has sinus issues, and he just always feels very low energy, and that family moved because they didn't want to be around it. So that's like in the middle of nowhere. the effect that it has had on the town. And so I am just well, I won't even get into, see, I'm already writing it, and if I were out there, I'd be making it, but I'm not, and there's stuff to do around here. So things that are, I want to tell the story. So I hope this has helped you. The topic was funding, but we've also parlayed into, getting ideas for films and that you want to make that relate to where you are now, rather than having to be like, I'm going to go to Antarctica and tell the story of Antarctica. Well, yeah, but it's sort of expensive to do that, and you can spend the time in raising the funds and do it if you are inclined that way, but I'd rather spend my time making movies. And so I pick things that I can take care of on my own and get it done, maybe with a crew, maybe not, but it's happening. And that's how I make my movies and how I find my joy. Maybe at some point I'll be approached and somebody will be like, hey, we want you to make this. And it has happened a few times. There's been negotiation stuff that has made that stuff not happen, usually when I've been approached, and also they weren't close to my heart, so it was like, meh. But as a filmmaker, as a documentary filmmaker, it makes me happy to contribute locally, and wherever my locality is, because it changes a lot, and also just to, get it done fast.